Hey, what's up, TechTonians? Today I'm going to be going through my post-Vision official Ravenscoon Luminous remix. I'm super proud of this song, put some heart and soul into it, and I'm just super pumped that it's out in the world and that it's being well received. It's been a journey to get here for sure, but I'm just hyped about this song, so I'm going to go through my project file all the way from the beginning. And I'll go over how I mastered it too, and you'll hear the bits and pieces of it, going over the sound design and the vocal arrangement and how I got the melodies, etc. So you can kind of see how I have it set up. Each thing has its own group, and then I run a sidechain group up at the top. The track is actually two remixes. It's a song called Vision and Post Haste. So I combined the vocal parts together into one kind of song here, and it's actually been a sec since I've gone through this project, so I'm excited to comb back through this too. Oh yeah, I have some versions that I've edited where I don't want vocals in certain spots depending on what's mixing in and out of it earlier, which is why I actually master my own songs now, because I want to be the person with the final control over, like, say I have another vocal from another song that's still playing during this section. I want to be able to turn off the vocals, if that makes sense. Makes your mixing a lot smoother. So we have this song. This is from Vision.
When I think about my dreams.
You can see here I have a separate delay channel. So I have it's pretty dry up here, nothing too crazy. The delay channel. One thing I like to do on my vocals is use this plugin called Nectar, which is a vocal processing plugin, and I use the harmony on it a whole lot. And you can draw extra voices in. So right now I took that vocal from the original track and duplicated it by 4. This is the stereo field left to right, and you can even go in and like make chords or other things like that. The de-esser is pretty solid too. If I just need like a quick, simple DS, just kind of overall.
When I think about my dreams.
So then you get that. I know I took these vocals from somewhere in one of the stems too, and kind of had that be the background part. So yeah, let's go back here. Okay. And I combined it with the like male vocals from the other track. So I kind of combined like the masculine and the feminine in this song. To make them a little more exciting, like chop them up, put filters on them, have a separate channel for like creativity in the vocals, because as you see, I'm not really doing a whole lot on the actual vocal channels here. Let's get to the drop here. So I kind of play the vocals back and forth. That's kind of the theme of the song, and that was kind of where I like to take it creatively. I'm gonna go up to the melodies in here, because just the way I did these melodies, I actually didn't use the stems for the melodies at all. I just kind of played them in by ear, and then that way I was able to process them, design the sounds myself. Not like I really did a whole lot with the sound design of the melodies. It's mostly just square waves. A square wave, and it's getting distorted somewhere. It's probably running into the clipper here. Yeah. And that was from the original, and then I made this melody I played in from a different part of one of the songs. For most of these, I use FabFilter Pro R2. I really like this plugin. It's maybe a little more involved than it needs to be, but they have awesome presets. I pretty much don't even use this except for the presets. There's like 5 or 6 that I just like go to all the time because it sounds great. There's lots of other good reverb plugins too, but I like kind of like that spacey, vibey reverb for all my melodic stuff. And play it back and forth. There's this little cool vocal part here where I play the vocal falling and down from different songs, kind of like one thing with these vocals here too, I gated them with duck. So I just draw a square in and they're on 8th note, so this is playing, it's just a volume, the shape of the volume, so you have 100% to nothing and you get that like effect. Just makes it kind of trippier. So yeah, the vocals are a huge part of this song. I really leaned into the vocals, probably just as much as the basses, just because the vocals are really telling the story of the song. The basses I feel like are almost there to support like what the vision is for the track. So yeah, that's all the vocals, lots of stuff. All these vocals are from the original. So this is where the main like brunt of the remix comes in, and I just combined them into one thing. All right, on the vocal group, I just brightened it up with some dynamic EQ here, compression, added more voices in Nectar, and this ensures that there's like 8 or 9 total, like it just really adds depth dimension to your vocals. I was trying to carve out a little bit of space for the snare without ducking the vocals, so I set up a multiband here, set the input to the snare. Just have it duck out just a little bit right in that range, just kind of help out the drums a little bit. Also sidechain soothe to the drums over here. So you can see we got where the kick and the snare are, and then just a little bit of like that kind of harsher, a little bit higher tones here to take out. And I'm routing all this to my sidechain up here, which is just this. And then I send the audio to the sends only. Just makes everything nice and easy. So let's do some sound design. So the main bass sound you're hearing. So as you can see, it's super layered. But the whole idea is I just want these like resonant frequencies with that filter movement going up. It's kind of the basis for it all. Lots of roar. You're going to see that a lot. And nothing too crazy. This is just 2 saws in a square wave, and you can see that upward ramp there. Just some extra filter movement here. So this layer here, just in the middle of this one, some upper order harmonics here. Yeah, these like poly saws, I like to use these to get harmonics in. Still has that filter movement, just a little more distortion. Also, everything's detuned now also, so that will alter the sound, obviously. Oh, yeah, I was wondering, my face plant didn't load, so one of the layers is out. Well, you can see what it is. It's a Reese filter but like just the middle frequencies of it. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Okay. And here, just two saw waves. This one I manually transposed it. So altogether, it is missing just a little bit of it, but the sound was pretty like layered back. You can see how I volume automated these two. I have my main one at 0 and have everything else layering in with it. On the group, yeah, so I clip it coming into the group here. Just to get, I mean, this is going to get absolutely bludgeoned here by the end of it. I used roar here in multi-band mode to just kind of warm up the mid-range a little bit. Looks like I used a little bit of high, put a little bit on the highs. Compression, OPC, this is just a area where I like to kind of just catch some peaks with the glue compressor and then slam it down. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. And then, yeah, so this overdrive right here, you can see I have the dynamics way down, but it's just add a little bit of energy to this range of the sound. And then I run into the clipper again. You can see a decent amount of it's getting chopped off there. But yeah, that's kind of that main bass sound. As you can see, I'm running it into the group, just making sure that that's off. A little bit of expansion here, just kind of brighten things up. And then running into the clipper. And then here's the side chains for that. And I guess I probably, if I was being smart, I could have grouped this together and side chained it, but I just didn't. So you can see the side chain set up here. I do kind of bring it out from the, just a little bit out right here with this LFO tool so I don't get that clicking sound if it like starts right at the beginning of the signal. And that can be offset with the track delay function in session view. So my whole side chain is getting pre-delayed just a little bit, just to have that actual like ducking motion be nice and smooth. It's the same thing I have here for this snare. This I just turned to 50% because I don't want it to like pump super hard. The kick, it's fine if it pumps on the kick. The snare doesn't need that much. Here, okay, yeah, so I took out more room for the snare, a whole bunch here. And then sidechain the drums, the vocals, and the melodies. So I have this, all the other, that's just saying all those other sounds, the drums, vocals, melodies, will be kind of sitting in front of these basses. So you can see where I'm carving all this room out here. Just trying to get as much space for everything as possible. It's a lot of side chaining, really. It's a lot, but I like it. So, let's go over the drums here. Oh yeah, so I have these. Make these little racks like with marching band drums. This is just all marching band snares, so you can kind of get these like marching band lines. I use these in a couple of my tracks. The tenors over here. I don't think I do use the tenors a little bit. Yeah, with some reverb, like marching band. Eventually I'd like to have actual marching band percussion like live in my shows, definitely. Cymbals over here. I leave the bass drums, like those pitched bass drums, out of it because I'm going to be having a kick and a snare like regular program too. So then together, yeah, the snare, I had that one reverb on it. What was it? It's just set on the clap, so when I have the clap playing, the clap will have that reverb, so I kind of like to put those at the ends of phrases to add some variation to it. You're going to also notice, yep, I sidechained the vocals and the kick and snare out of the marching band percussion. So I'm just giving priority here to the kick and snare and letting the marching band stuff take, like, if like a marching band sitting in front of you, like the program stuff's closer to you. That makes sense. But together, get this nice. Oh yeah, another one of my synths is missing. I can already hear it. Oh yeah, I want to go over to the trap beat here. So it's kind of similar to the opening, except I'm using this 808 bass here. So take a look. The way I'm building this beat, I have the snare is just the same as it was, but I have this 808 patch I use that I just made. I just draw in a couple of harmonics here and make this shape with the envelope and the LFO and have it pitch down, and then have this just be like the decay of it, basically. Use this filter as like accentuates things a little bit. I'll use like a saturator here and just these like first overtones to just kind of give it that more like a live feel, I guess. And to get it so that the transient of the kick punches through, I'm gonna run duck with a really short little bit here to leave some room for that first initial kick transient to come through. There's still like a little bit of clashing, but it's pretty good. Notice also with the kick, what I have automated here. So one thing that you can do to help your kick and your bass notes synergize together is I tune the kick to the note that the 808's playing. And this just keeps everything nice. It's like really can lock in your basses. It's like one of those things that you might not notice a whole lot, but does make a big difference when it's 808s and the beat's a little more exposed. I don't usually do this in the drops, although I should. And I just use this punchy, noisiest snare, I think it is. Yeah. When the build comes around, I have a whole nother section just for drums that happen in the build, just because it's easy to filter them in. Nothing crazy, just a kick and two snares, and a little bit. Oh yeah, I use an exciter on these just so that when they do open, when that filter finally opens up, they're nice and there's like a nice brightness kind of shining through. You'll see more of that plugin on the drum group. Couple instances of saturation. I don't even know if sometimes I don't use this first one yet. Didn't need it. And then the real magic here though is this parallel reverb. So I'm running reverb through a super short, I use this Drum Studio 0.77 seconds, not even all the way up on the mix, and then compress it pretty hard. Something like this I probably would want to drag it down more actually. And mixing that in. Glue it together a little bit here. And then here I'm going to do the same thing and just have the same compressor, except instead of reverb, just letting it straight go through compressed. And here, I didn't even use saturation there, it's just going through the compressor again. At the end here, I didn't even brighten it up, just run into the clipper at the end. Yeah, like a lot of these like chains I have pre-made, like I don't even use, I might have overdone it when I made the chain, because I don't even need it necessarily. Let's go to another bass sound. So, oh yeah, my pitch bend bass isn't there, but just know it was dope. It was some detuned saws, and then I used the M tremolo on it to give it that kind of like wave, wow, 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 wow. Which you can do other ways, but I just throw the tremolo on there and that does it pretty good. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, just a little fill guy. Let's check out the second drop here. I basically just took the first sound and drew the drew the shape backwards on it. That was my variation there. So because you can see now I just moved this back, so the filter is moving the opposite way. Run it into the clipper, give it some saturation, warm it up, OTT, overdrive clip. Same, literally pretty much the same sound as drop one, except it's backwards. If you want to take a look at the sub, sure. Limit it and saturate it a whole bunch. Sidechain over here, just usually I'll run 2 kick ducks just to make sure it's all cleared up out of there. And a little bit of corrective EQ to kind of level out these big note changes. As for the patch, just analog BD sine, baby. Alright, so notice everything's clipped coming out of there. Everything sounded nice and clean, balanced. So I came in and mastered just a little bit of this saturation, just like some light clipping. Here I'm compressing the lows and the highs, and then this is the amount I compressed it by. Just levels out the dynamics of those things. I don't know, some songs, if there's just a lot of mud still, I'll just like cut it right here at like 150. Just taking a little bit of build up out there, also rolling off the lows here where there's no audible signal can clear up some headroom for you too. Here I'm mid-siding everything, just giving it a little stereo shelf and just a little boost here in the mids where the snare drum is, just to help that kind of poke through. Just a little bit of that. Whole bunch of fresh air, that's just an exciter, that's a lot, Jesus. Alright, well, sounds good. So just a little bit of inflator. Sometimes, depending on what the mix needs, this I'll use this pretty much all over the place. Clip it again. It's looking pretty shaved off there. Here I'll use Pro G. The upward mode will introduce some dynamics back into your sound a little bit. And then a limiter, and I think I'm aiming most of my songs to be at -6 these days. So it's loud, but it's not like super loud, which if I had just kept going on this process, I would have gotten it down to like -3 or -4, but it just sounds good at -6. So thanks, Evan Ruby, love you, bro. You see, it's kind of the overall shape you got there, and that's the track. Hope you learned something or have gotten inspired somehow. Oh yeah, and then before I like master it for real, I will bounce it out without the mastering chain on at a super high, just like super high sample rate, super high bit rate. Just get the most detailed signal you can, and then run all these at their highest quality settings, and then bounce it back down to streaming numbers. It has worked pretty well. It makes it sound good on a big system. So anyways, it's been TechTonic. Peace.